Peace. Infinite Waters diving deep once again. We are out here in nature, baby. We got the birds everywhere. Let's go quantum. Breathing in that good ass prana. Someone wrote in asking if I could talk about how quantum physics, quantum mechanics can help us become our greatest version. And I'm reading this message like, we ain't even had breakfast yet. Can I get a hello? But we are already diving into these fascinating, mind-boggling topics. And I'm going to share with you what's helped me along my journey. I read a book many years ago called The Holographic Universe, and it blew me out of my chair. It really made me see reality in a different way. My view of reality was being shattered right before my eyes. Quantum physics is all about how we are living in a sea, in a wave of infinite potentialities. At every single moment, you can change your life. And it's helped me so much. Democritus, the ancient Greek philosopher in 460 BC, talked of the atom, the smallest part of matter. Atomos meaning indivisible. But since then, quantum physics and quantum mechanics has taken it a step further. And I'm going to share with you what I've discovered, what I've learned, and what I apply, how it relates to my life right now, and how it helps me go to the next level. Now, in ancient Egypt, on every temple you had know thyself. The philosophy was, if you come to know yourself, you will come to know how the universe works. Albert Einstein said, reality is an illusion, albeit a persistent one. Nikola Tesla, the great scientist, said, if you want to understand the universe, how it works, know about energy, vibration, and frequency. So the first amazing secret I discovered about quantum physics and how I've used it to help myself become my greatest version, it starts with this. For so long, classical physicists, the Newtonian physics has told us we are separate from our environment. We are separate from the universe we live in. The human being is a kind of accident. We are clockwork. We are almost like a machine, the mechanical man, the mechanical woman. So everything is set in stone, and basically we are like alone. Okay, we have no control over the universe. We can't actually change it. Quantum physics is all about realizing that we actually can, because research shows the unified field theory, right? The unified field theory shows how everything is connected. And I wrote down that when you realize your thoughts are creating your reality, your mental, emotional, and physical health will improve. Slow motion this side. I always tell people how we are living in great times. When you realize we aren't separate, there's a reason why there have been so many wars. We are in spiritual warfare because we are still living in that old paradigm that we are separate from everything around us. Quantum physics shows actually everything is connected. And we're going to come to more of that later. The second secret I discovered, and I discovered along my journey about quantum physics and I applied, is that the old Newtonian physics was all about how we are living in a deterministic, universe. Our genes, deterministic, If your parents had it, that's why you got it. Now, quantum physics, quantum mechanics is showing us that doesn't even make sense, because there's something called epigenetics. Studies have showed how our perception is actually changing our DNA. How you think of yourself is everything, because that actually starts affecting every single cell within your body. Our brain is processing 400 billion bits of information per second, but we only have access to 2,000. So something else is going on. Our brain, the frontal lobe, which actually makes us a lot different from other species, is super powerful, and our perception can actually change our DNA. The great Dr. Bruce Lipton talks of that. We've had him here. And it's amazing when you realize you're not a victim of circumstance like the old deterministic way. You can actually create your reality by changing your thoughts. And that's how I've used it along my journey. I said, every day I want to wake up with what in my mouth? A bunch of grapes in my mouth. And it's fantastic. What's the third secret? How do I apply quantum physics to help me become my greatest version? Food is energy. Everything is vibrating. Every single thing you see around you is comprised of everything you can't even imagine of. There are worlds within worlds. Inside of your body, your cells, they have their own little universe you know nothing about. Just like in the food we eat, it holds information. Food is information. And that's what I started to discover, that energy is transferred. So whatever you are eating holds memory from whatever it was before. If you are eating a delicious mango that was chilling in the sun, you absorb all of those beautiful frequencies, those nutrients from all of those beautiful sun rays hitting that mango, okay? And before I became a vegan over 12 years ago, I was eating a lot of animals, and I could feel how my vibration was lowering. Then I realized, okay, I get it. If the animals are being killed in pain, their energy is being transferred into my body, because energy can never be destroyed. Slow motion this side. So quantum physics actually helped me eat a plant-based diet, because it helped me to see the interconnectedness between everything. And everything is conscious. Now, what's the fourth secret? There have been so many studies. The founding fathers of quantum physics, we're talking about people like Max Planck, Schrödinger. When they started to do early experiments, and we'll go into the experiments a bit later, they found fascinating observations. They saw how we are living in an interactive universe, meaning there is a link between how we observe things to how they actually react. How we observe the universe is what comes back to us. Slow motion this side. And that's what's helped me along my journey to realize I studied under a mentor called Master Diyunov, a genius, okay? Einstein learned from him, a Bulgarian master teacher. He said, we live in the world we are thinking of. Now, many experiments in quantum physics have showed how just by observing something, you actually start changing it. And that is immense. So a practical way to apply this into your life, if you wake up and you're feeling very tired, if you just have one positive thought, that is going to send ripples throughout the field, and it's going to actually start changing everything around you. Mirror neurons. When you smile, I start smiling. When you're happy, I'm happy. When you're sad, I'm sad, right? We affect everything around us. And that's what's helped me along my journey. So when I started to realize that there is a huge link between observer and matter, okay? How you perceive the universe is everything. In fact, it is what creates. It is what creates your reality. Now, let's talk about the fifth secret. The only thing that matters is what it means to you. Now, I was talking to a good friend, and what happened was I was saying, yeah, I said something like this. I wonder how they would take it. And she said something that really spoke to me. She said, well, it only matters what it means to you. And this is what quantum physics is showing us when we talk of how we are creating our reality. It doesn't matter what people think of you, because the perception you have of yourself is greater than the perception other people have of you. Slow motion this side. It only matters what it means to you. And that has freed me along my journey. It's helped me become my greatest version. Now, number 6 is that consciousness is real. People like Greg Braden, I used to read his books, and it's fascinating when you realize just if enough people meditate on something, it actually influences a certain event. We are talking about how our beliefs affect our reality. Belief is the program which creates our reality. Our consciousness is real. Harvard studies have showed how just praying for someone who's in another country can actually affect and influence how that person feels. So once again, you are seeing examples of what we call the unified field theory. Okay, we've been told that everything is separate. No. Space is just a construct that gives us the illusion that there are separate objects. Slow motion this side. Everything is connected. Consciousness, which is awareness, is real. Number 7. Now let's get into an experiment called the double slit experiment. Now, when I was reading this many years ago, it really spoke to me. I'm going to break it down in the most simple way I can. Now, in quantum physics, they talk of the particle being basically a small part of matter. We're talking about electrons, we're talking particles, and then you got the wave. Okay, so what actually happened was they had one slit and they fired some particles through it, and when it hit the wall, it was just in a straight line. Then they fired particles in 2 slits, and it was 2 separate lines, what you would expect, 2 bands, okay? Then they fired electrons, which are the smallest part of matter, through the 2 slits, and something happened, okay? They got multiple bands on the wall, okay? And they did the same with wave. They put it through the 2 slits and they got multiple bands on the wall, what we call interference patterns. Slow motion this side. Now, why are these interference patterns so essential in helping us become our greatest version? Because they show us how in the subatomic level, in the quantum field, okay, waveform and electrons act very differently from what we think, okay? And interference patterns is like they do whatever they want, meaning the past, present, future are all happening simultaneously. Time does not exist. And therefore, laws can be bent, broken, changed, and electrons are electrons of potentials. Nothing is set in stone. Okay, we can talk of number 8. What I learned, another experiment, is what we call entanglement. Now, entanglement was what they did. Quantum physicists showed how if you do something to an atom, an electron, okay, in one place, okay, and you separate the electron, the other electron would do the exact same thing. Okay, 2 electrons in different places, if you do something to one, it affects the other one, showing us that space doesn't even exist. Okay, and it really blew my mind. When we talk of entanglement, we can start to realize how telekinesis works. Okay, how we can actually read people's minds, because everything is entangled. Everything was part of everything else at the beginning of creation. Well, guess what? There is no beginning and there is no end. So entanglement, how I use this is to realize that what I do to you, I'm actually doing to myself. Slow motion this side. Entanglement is that we are never alone. Entanglement shows us, in helping us become our greatest version, that everything is actually connected. And that's why studies have shown back in the day when soldiers would go off to war, if something happened to them, the mother would feel it instantly and already know the news before it came to her. Entanglement. Okay, so entanglement, you can actually use it to realize how separation is the greatest illusion ever created. Now, number 9 is Dr. Emoto talked of what he did, an amazing genius in his work of water, how intention affects water. What he did was he would say certain things to water particles and then freeze them. And then if he said love to a water particle, it would form the most amazing crystal. If he talked to the water molecules with hate, okay, they would actually create a shape which wasn't pleasing to the eye. So if our thoughts do that to water, and our body is over 90% water, imagine what we are doing to our body with our thoughts. Slow motion this side. Okay, so quantum physics is impressive to realize that even the water in our body, once again, we are changing it. And that's what sometimes makes someone healthy and someone not healthy, by seeing how our thoughts are affecting the water molecules and realizing everything is alive within our body. Everything is conscious and everything is affected by everything else. Now, before we go on to number 10, what I actually found fascinating was someone said this, a quantum physicist said this, that we often talk of how our present, okay, for instance, we have cause and effect. If I throw a ball down and it touches the ground, that's cause and effect, okay? So our present creates a past experience. Now check this out. Quantum physicists are actually telling us how actually the future is actually creating our present experience. Okay, the future is already here. So if there wasn't a ground, then I wouldn't be able to throw the ball in the first place. There being a ground, okay, is the reason why I threw the ball. So actually, the future is controlling everything. It's trippy, I know. And we ain't even had breakfast yet, okay? And number 10, what really helped me was to realize this. You see, our concentration, our attention span is between 6 to 10 seconds per minute, meaning we're not paying attention most of the times. Now, in helping ourselves become our greatest version, to tap into the field, what I've discovered is that we have to create more. We have to get a better attention span. Okay, because that's where we start actually, once again, observing and start influencing the field. We start molding reality around us, but it can only be done through attention. So I use meditation to tap into the quantum field. And also, attention is created through intention. And the power of intention is really what quantum physics, quantum mechanics is all about. By even the mere act of observing. That's why quantum experiments are so trippy, because just looking in on an experiment, being part of the experiment, actually changes the whole direction of the experiment according to who is doing it. And that's why it's one of the most amazing sciences around, because you're starting to realize that me being part of it is changing everything. Okay? So intention changes everything. Paulo Coelho in the great book, The Alchemist, said, when you want something, the whole universe conspires to help you get it. Now, this is simple quantum physics. By just seeing it already there, it is already happening. Because there is no out there, everything is taking place within ourselves. So someone once asked me, do you think that we can change matter? I say we are part of everything we see. So of course we can. And then I say, feels so good to be alive, baby. Can I get a hello? And that's how to quantum. Have a beautiful day. We're out here, baby. Infinite waters, diving deep. Once again, stay well, stay healthy. Peace. You.